Hi, everybody. My name is Alyson Ginesta. I am a senior marketing manager on the Copilot for Microsoft 365 team. I personally oversee Copilot Lab, and I'm here to speak with you today about prompts and prompting fundamentals so that you can unlock the value of Copilot in your day-to-day. So here's an overview of what you'll be learning today. So we're going to start off by talking about the art and science of prompting, where we'll explore the anatomy of a good prompt and share some tips and tricks on how to make a good prompt great. Then we'll dive into an overview of some top Copilot prompts and use cases by Microsoft 365 apps so you can get more done in your day-to-day. And finally, we'll discuss how you and the members of your organization can use Copilot Lab to build new AI habits and skills on a day-to-day basis. But before diving in, we did think it was important to share a few high-level insights on the productivity gains that others have received using Copilot in their work and organization. After months of extensive research, we're excited to share our latest Work Trend Index report, where we conducted both quantitative and qualitative research from surveys and empirical studies to truly understand the impact of Copilot among early adopters. And so what did our research find? Well, our most recent report revealed that Copilot makes people more productive and creative. In fact, 77% of early users don't want to go back to work without it. Almost sounds too good to be true. But today we're going to share a little bit more about how to make sure you're maximizing through good prompts. 70% said that they were more productive and 68% felt it improved the quality of their work. Copilot sets a new baseline, one where everyone can gain the skills to write, design, code, analyze data, and more. And we believe that it amplifies expertise, taking work from good to exceptional. A first step to unlocking the true value and productivity gains of Copilot begins with understanding the art and science of prompting. Think of prompting like having a conversation with Copilot in the same way as you would a personal assistant. There are many types of prompts you can develop and use depending on the task at hand. A common question we are typically asked is, how do I get better results with prompts? Writing good prompts is key to getting better outcomes with Copilot. Just like there are techniques to help you communicate effectively with others, there are tips and tricks to help you get better results with generative AI and Copilot when writing good prompts. First, it's important that you're clear on what you're trying to achieve. Are you looking to learn, edit, summarize, create, or even catch up on something that you may have missed? Copilot is great at helping you create, summarize, and transform your work using plain, clear language and providing context. You can see some example prompts here, depending on the task or action you're trying to take. Next, it's important to become familiar with the anatomy of a prompt. There are 4 key elements, or as we like to say, ingredients that make up a successful prompt. It is important to always start with a goal in mind. What do you want Copilot to do? Then add some context that includes why do you need it and who is involved. And if possible, it's important to add information source or examples that Copilot should use to answer your prompt, such as a file or an email message. And then set expectations of how Copilot should respond to best meet those expectations. Now let's take what we've learned and apply it to these 2 prompt examples. Can you guess which prompt will generate a richer and more precise blog post draft? If you guess prompt number 2, you're right. You can see in prompt number 2 how we have used the prompt ingredients to write a more effective prompt for Copilot. Another pro tip is that prompting is just like experimentation. So make sure that you're always including a variety of different inputs, contexts, sources, which will ultimately impact the response that you get. So later parts of a prompt are likely to be emphasized more than earlier parts. It's important to note that 2 different users inputting the exact same prompt may not get the same response. And that's completely normal or expected behavior based on the user's context and access to the data that they have. Also, keep in mind that prompting is an iterative process, and you can go back and forth with Copilot to refine the output. Many Microsoft 365 users are utilizing Copilot to generate ideas, enable insightful meetings, assist you in storytelling, gaining insights, translating languages, and even helping you solve technical problems. The list goes on and on. It's important to recognize that Copilot is limited to your current conversation. So give as many details as possible. Being professional and polite will improve Copilot's response. So make sure that you're clear in your language and grammar to ensure your request can be well reasoned over. Use quotation marks if there are specific areas you want Copilot to write or replace for you. And lastly, but importantly, start fresh. When you are switching tasks, type in new chat to reset Copilot for the next task at hand. Next, we're going to talk about what you can get done using Copilot prompts in your day-to-day across the Microsoft 365 apps. As everyone may know, Copilot is built upon large language models that are connected to your Microsoft 365 apps and data. And with Copilot, you can go beyond what you can do with other LLM-powered chatbots by getting data from Microsoft 365 apps and your internal data, such as articles, reports, emails, presentations, and more. With Copilot, you can create or edit content, ask questions, summarize information, and catch up on things. So we wanted to make sure that you had a few great examples of different scenarios, use cases, and top prompts by app to power your day moving forward. Let's start with a Teams meeting. Teams is a great place to use prompts to catch up on a meeting that you might have missed. Some of the favorite prompts that we have across our team is making sure that you're typing in things, keeping you up to speed on summarizing the key discussion points or any action items you have missed. Also, it's a great tool to identify next steps. It can even help you draft an email after the meeting that summarizes that list of what was discussed and any action items or follow-ups. And it's also a really great place where you can use prompts to run and conduct a more effective meeting. And some examples include creating a table of the options, which can outline things like pros and cons. And it's also another place that it can do that hard thinking of understanding whether the team achieved a consensus on a decision that was talked about. Another pro tip that we wanted to share is that it's really important in order to unlock the full power of Copilot in Teams to enable recording or transcription of the meeting.
Imagine you have an appointment that conflicts with your weekly business review. What if you could do both? With Copilot, you can opt to follow a meeting. After the meeting ends, Copilot will summarize what you missed. You'll get a notification in Teams when the recap is ready. This recap will highlight content that was shared, summarize notes, and any action items for you or others whose names were mentioned. You see that one of your customers was discussed, and you want to learn more. You can ask Copilot clarifying questions, and it provides a detailed response. It can tell you why a certain decision was made, and gives you helpful context. You can even ask Copilot what other solutions were considered, and it provides citations from the transcript so you can see where Copilot drew these conclusions. It's a huge time saver. So that was pretty cool. But the real magic of Copilot happens during a live meeting. Let's say you're in a meeting with your team. You can ask Copilot to summarize the meeting so far. You can see how it summarizes who said what points were made, and it's really capturing the spirit of the discussion. And as the meeting progresses, you can check in on where people stand. You can even ask Copilot what questions are unresolved. It's just amazing to see this happen in real time during a meeting.
Now let's move on to Outlook, and how Outlook is a really great resource that can help you with summarization and drafting emails. Some of the best use cases that we like to see in Outlook are things like drafting an email that talks about a certain project. You can even make sure that that email is short and to the point, and even update the tone, whether that's a more formal or casual tone. You can even ask Copilot in Outlook to write a thank you note to a project or a team, or summarize a long email thread. This is one of the features that I really like, where you can select summarize and the Outlook experience summarized by Copilot, and it'll generate a shortened version that just recaps the top highlights. Talk about really good time savings. I really love using this, especially when you get a long email.
You need to gather the latest sales results from stores in the Northwest region, and there's an email on the topic. you use Copilot to draft a reply. And what Copilot does is analyze your previously sent emails to understand your unique style and tone. And then it applies that style so the email really sounds like you. Let's say the team needs to meet on this topic. Copilot can help there too, based on all your recent work and updates, starting with the name of the meeting. Because Copilot understands the context of your meeting, it can accurately suggest which colleagues to invite. It's really acting as a personal assistant, quickly finding a date and time that works for everyone. It even books a conference room for those in the office. Copilot also suggests relevant files to share as a pre-read, based on its understanding of what you'll be talking about. And because it has all the context about why you're meeting, it generates a customized agenda to help you get what you want out of the conversation. Now you're ready for your meeting.
Now let's talk about different types of prompts and scenarios for content generation. When we think about content generation, a key app that comes to mind is Word. That's where we normally get a lot of our drafts started for the very first time. So Copilot does a really great job making it easy to get a first draft started. You can do things like writing a cover letter, even writing a marketing plan, outlining a business plan. I can't tell you how many times I actually use Copilot in Word because it is such a time savings on getting started on that first draft. Copilot in Word also helps you turn a good draft into a great one. You can ask Copilot to add a paragraph, for example, that captures a key point in the document. You can even ask it to give specific examples from the document on how you can improve it. And we really like the feature as well of rewrite, because that's another great way that it can take your words and transform it into something that sounds slightly different with different words, but also has the same strong impact. I would say this is one of my favorite apps to use with Copilot.
When you've written a paragraph in shorthand, you can highlight it and click Rewrite. Copilot then offers several alternate options to choose from that are all written professionally. And it can translate wordy or complex paragraphs into digestible visualized tables. You can even use Copilot to add a column with extra data, which it can complete automatically. Copilot also makes you the expert on any document. Simply ask a question about the content, and Copilot will provide a concise response.
Other great prompts for content generation happens in PowerPoint. And oftentimes you'll start a first draft in Word, but then move over to PowerPoint to bring your ideas more visually to life. So Copilot does a really great job helping you create a stunning presentation in just a matter of seconds. You can ask Copilot to do things like rewriting the text on a slide to be more concise, or even including things like bullets or updating the formatting, making everything a uniform font with bolded titles and colors. And it's also really cool that you can even use the Word doc that you started in to have Copilot start that first PowerPoint draft for you.
Copilot can also help you ensure everything you create is customized to your organization. Let's say you need to edit a slide for this presentation. Copilot can now pull in images from your brand or corporate image library. And soon, you can use DALL-E 3 to combine your corporate assets to fit your creative vision, so that great idea in your head comes to life in seconds, no photo shoot required.
We also use Copilot for analysis, and Excel is a great place for that to happen. Copilot in Excel allows you to analyze and understand your data, picking up things like, are there any trends in my data, and which items have the most of a certain number or quantity. You can also ask Copilot to add or combine columns. And then also, it's a great place where you can actually take the data in your spreadsheet and ask it to visualize this data.
Let's say you're a buyer for the outdoor clothing division, and you'd like to know the top 10 selling rain gear products. Copilot taps into your historical sales data, clearly highlighting the top sellers in green. You'd like to compare the monthly sales data over time, but to do that well, you really need a pivot table. Copilot can easily create a pivot table to add to your workbook, summarizing rain gear sales. You're curious, how did rainfall in the region over the last 3 years affect sales in that time period? Ask Copilot to find the rainfall data on the web and add it to a worksheet. Copilot in Excel can also execute Python code. In order to work with the sales and rain data, we've created 2 data frames using Python and Excel. Now we simply ask Copilot to combine these data sets. Copilot knows when to use Python and Excel and writes the code for you. It even explains the formula it uses. You don't need to be a data analyst to be able to tell a compelling story with these numbers. Next, simply ask Copilot to visualize the relationship between the data. Here, it uses advanced analytics to create multiple plots so you can see the trends and make better decisions. Just look at these rich visuals. With Copilot and Python in Excel, anyone can create these complex graphics with a simple prompt.
And then last but not least, we wanted to talk about Microsoft Copilot for Microsoft 365. This experience is something that you can enjoy through Microsoft 365 on the web, and it's also something that you can engage with in Teams. With Copilot, you can also get brought up to speed and get really rich insights that can help you start your day strong. You can ask for things like what's new. You could be on a vacation and coming back for the first time, ask what's new so that Copilot can catch you up on what you missed. It can also help you to summarize emails, and it's important to make sure that you are similar to our prompt anatomy, including things like names and the right context and details so that Copilot can do its magic in helping you get a really strong result. And Microsoft Copilot is really great at helping you create new things, such as if you have writer's block, brainstorming different taglines, or even helping you create a sales pitch that you might have coming up. It's also important to note that Copilot looks across all of your context. So that includes your chats, your meetings, and emails, and all of the files to which you have access to. And it's also important to note that the LLM cannot reason over data to which you do not have access to. This is all in the benefit to making sure that Copilot is generating the result that's most tailored and custom to your experience. So hopefully you've learned some great tips and tricks on what you can do in Copilot throughout all of the Microsoft 365 apps that you use every day. We wanted to end with talking about how you can build new AI habits and skills with a great tool, which is Copilot Lab. The Copilot Lab site is a great place to start your Copilot journey and includes a number of really great articles about some of the tips and tricks I shared today about prompting and additional information and videos that you can share with others so that they can also get started on their journey. We also have a full prompt library with suggested prompts and ready-made prompts that you can use today that are organized by app and different categories. Copilot Lab is an experience that enables you to get started and hit the ground running fast with Copilot. It's something where it includes a number of learning resources and training materials, especially for new users that are really unfamiliar of how to interact with generative AI and Copilot for the first time. You can also, as you see on the screen, click on the various app icons to get some key scenarios by app, such as the ones that I had just shared with you. And then we have a complete and comprehensive library of prompts that are ready-made prompts that you can get started using quickly across the variety of apps in the M365 suite. One of the things that we're also really excited about is being able to save and share custom prompts. And that's something that we know that just as important it is to get started using suggested prompts, that there's a desire to also use prompts that are going to make the impact for you and your productivity and also across the organization. So we're really excited about that as well.
Copilot Lab helps everyone build new habits to get the most out of Copilot directly within the Microsoft 365 apps. You can easily discover prompts right in the flow of work and learn how to turn a good prompt into a great one. We've learned from our early users that there's a viral aspect to Copilot. Giving it to one person is not as impactful as giving it to an entire team. Copilot Lab is where you'll connect with coworkers to save and share your favorite prompts and get inspired as you all learn to work in a whole new way together.
So next steps, we would welcome everybody to take what you've learned and start applying them in their day-to-day. And also make sure that you're checking out Copilot Lab for prompt tips, tricks, and inspiration at aka.ms/Copilot Lab. It's a place where the prompt library is continually growing, and we're continuing to add new features and capabilities to make it even more personalized with the prompts that you're using on a daily basis. Thank you so much for your time today. And we hope that this was really helpful in helping you become a better prompter so that you can start to unlock the magic of Copilot. Bye-bye.